Three monsters, Velma cried, still patting the ground in front of her. Help me find my glasses so I can see. Whoosh! Shady and Scooby ducked as one of the branches swiped at them. Like no time, Shady said. He stooped up Velma and made a run for it. Scooby-Doo snatched up her glasses before following them. When they reached the edge of the woods, Shady put Velma down and glanced around. Like I hope those three monsters don't uproot and follow us. Velma put on her glasses and laughed. Three monsters? Come on, Shady, that's serious. It's Rue, Scooby said. All right, she said, edging out of the woods. Let's tell the others about the smoke machine. Scooby grabbed Velma's arm, keeping her close. Velma, look. He pointed to the nearby cornfield. Fred, Daphne, and Batman stepped out of the tall rows of corn. They were surrounded by 4 men in animal masks and a creepy scarecrow. Batman and their friends were prisoners. Velma, Shady, and Scooby-Doo ducked down behind a clump of large bushes. Like what are we going to do? Shady asked. Velma straightened her glasses. We have to find a way to rescue them. Just then, more eerie fog flowed from the woods. A thick haze fell over the whole scene. Velma's eyes widened when she glanced back at the forest. Okay, Shady, I believe you about the 3 monsters. You do? Shady asked. Velma's hand trembled as she pointed. Yeah, because they are right there. The trees around them snarled with angry faces and glowing red eyes. They swiped at them with crooked branch arms. Whoosh! Zoinks! Shady shouted as the 3 of them jumped out from behind the bushes. Shady, Velma, and Scooby's legs spun in mid-air for a moment before hitting the ground. Then they took off for the farmhouse. Scooby-Doo skidded to a halt. Velma and Shady slammed into him as he pointed towards the old farmhouse. 2 huge spiders climbed down from the roof and landed right in front of them. Chick, 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 chick. And like I believe you about the spiders, Shady said. The 3 ran towards the barn. This time Velma was the first to put on the brakes. A huge bat flew out of the barn and hovered in front of them. There was nowhere to run. Ha 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 ha, the scarecrow laughed. The men in masks had once again transformed into spooky barnyard beasts. Everyone's greatest fears has come to life, the scarecrow said. He held up a small remote, all with the press of a button. Batman smiled. Now that everyone is here, he said as he pressed a button on his utility belt, I have a remote too. Shitang. A hatch opened on the back of the Batmobile, and a large fan rose from a secret compartment. The fan spun to life, blowing the creepy fog away. As the haze disappeared, so did the spiders and the bats, and the trees went back to normal, and the 4 farm beasts were transformed back to the men wearing masks. So that's what the fog does, Velma said as she sprinted towards the house. She found the outside electrical socket and pulled out the lead. The scarecrow pressed his remote again. Click, click, click. The villain growled with frustration as nothing happened. With the smoke machine unplugged, that was the end of the creepy fog. Batman broke free and went after the scarecrow. The villain threw punches and kicks, but the Dark Knight blocked them with ease. Meanwhile, Fred and Daphne broke away from the pigmen and chickenmen. They ran into the barn with the masked henchman close behind them. Rumble. Moments later, the henchmen ran terrified out of the barn as Fred and Daphne chased after them with a large tractor. Fred steered the vehicle while Daphne operated a lever, lowering the tractor's loading bucket. Together they scooped up the bad guys and lifted them high in the air. Fred parked the tractor and switched off the engine. The masked men were trapped on top of the raised bucket. Scooby-Doo ran across the yard and leaped onto the shoulders of the horseman. He pushed the mask down so the man couldn't see where he was going. The man ran in circles, jumping up and down, trying to throw Scooby off. Shaggy ran up with a toy rope. "Here you go, Scoob," he yelled as he tossed the rope. Scooby-Doo caught it and threw a big loop over his head. Scooby giggled as he swung the rope. He. "Like Rodham, cowdog," Shaggy shouted, still on top of the barking horseman. Scooby lassoed the man wearing the bull mask. He put the rope tight, spinning the man's arms to his side. Then Scooby hopped off the horseman and ran around him like a tornado. When the dust cleared, both the bullman and the horseman were tied together. Scooby dusted off his paws. "Ree-haw," he said. The dark night blocked a few more of the Scarecrow's attacks before throwing some of his own. After a few well-played punches and kicks, the Scarecrow was flat on the ground, defeated. The Mystery Inc. gang gathered around a Cape Crusader and the fallen villain. Batman put off the Scarecrow's mask. "Hey, I know him," Velma said. "That's Jonathan Crane, better known as the Scarecrow." Batman added, "It looks as if he was using your friend's farm to create a new batch of fear toxin." Crane snarled, "And I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for you meddling kids." "And Redman," Scooby added. "That's," the Cape Crusader began to say before shaking his head. "Never mind." He pressed another button on his utility belt. "The police will be here soon to collect Crane and his henchmen." "Thanks for your help, Batman," Fred said. "My friend Kevin will be relieved to find out his farm isn't really haunted." "That reminds me," Shaggy said, running towards the farmhouse. "I believe your friend's note said something about snacks." "Rare," Scooby agreed as he ran after his friend.